And here we are with round number 2. We have Coastatoes against Free the Mandern. Bans are Sylvanas, Thor, Kali, Freya, first pick Apollo. We haven't seen Serket or Nox. I'm kind of scared.
Well, we're all seeing a newest being covered, so I think we should all be terrified, but I
This is true.
mean, yeah, there's plenty we can get into about Anubis. He's a very immobile god, but he brings a lot of damage to the table, but I don't know, with Freeze locking in Mirror, I think anything could happen right now. Even an Anubis lock in, but I think they're going to be messing with us right here.
You never know. Anyways, interesting decision here coming out from Coastatoes. First picking Geb and Giannis. Don't hate either of them as first picks. Also, we're going to see an Agni locked in for Petri on Smite. I don't hate those first picks, but it's interesting just that we see some of these powerhouse junglers overlooked. We saw, especially towards the end of yesterday's tournament.
4 jungler bans, like in most of the games. 4 or 5 jungler bans.
Yes,
exactly. I think one game we even saw 6 jungler bans.
There was one game where we did see 6 jungler bans. So we're going to see Shaggy Shank hovering on Rom here. Very solid decision here because I would not be surprised at all to see Rom get banned out in the second round if he didn't pick him up here. So now that he has, each team does have a mid laner, support, and ADC, assuming that's not, of course, a jungle Amir, which is possible, but support Amir makes a little bit more sense. Though, again, it really does depend on their team comp. We are going to see an Arachne ban by Coastatoes second round. Interesting decision that they're not going to ban out Serket here. Maybe they feel like they can handle Serket. I mean, they do have a fairly solid comp as far as dealing with her early.
Yeah, they've got a fairly solid comp. They have a ways to get away from her. As long as Rom and Giannis is a portal, Rom can, as long as there's some way to just get away from her crowd control in the later portions of the game and not be one-shot by her, then they should be fine to deal with Serket, and especially if they feel that nobody on Free the Mandern can play her that well.
We're going to see a Bastet ban as well. Interesting decision to ban Bastet out. So going to see Snakeskin locking in Hun Bots here, and that was sort of my feeling was that if Hun Bots was available, he'd be a very solid god, another displacement-esque god with his ultimate and some of his mobility issues, or lack thereof as far as issues mobility skills, would be solid. So we're going to see that locked in for their jungler. We're going to see what Lennox and Rudos pick to round out Mandern's composition. What kind of jungler would you like to see here? Or would you like to see an Athena support here, or a Sobek support?
I honestly would like to see a Mir jungle and an Athena support coming out here. But we're going to see a Nemesis locked in and a Chalk being hovered for the solo lane, actually, most likely.
Interesting
loss. But I personally would like to see either Mir or Athena, because they can both go support. They can both go support a jungle with a nice flex pick and fit the aggressive team composition here. But these pickups do a great job for that as well. I mean, Chalk and Nemesis is going to spike a lot earlier as well.
Yep. So we're going to see what Suntouch has for the last pick over for Coastatoes, and to see what they're going to want for a solo laner here against a Chalk. A Bakasura would do relatively well. A Nox would actually do quite nicely. But you know how you build it. Raw, very safe god, but definitely one that
boring but solid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be works. It's gonna be a boring lane matchup unless we see somebody going incredibly aggressive, which we could see it happen. But it's a very solid, stable god. You can't go wrong with. Fits this composition quite nicely. Fits any composition quite nicely, and I'm not surprised to see it picked up here.
Yeah, definitely. So
all I know is that somewhere somebody is crying about Serket not being picked.
I'm crying about the fact that Nox wasn't picked, but that's okay, because again, Nox is one of those gods that you have to get ahead, and you have to be able to play perfectly. But with that said, we're going to let Spectator do its thing. We'll be back in 3 minutes with the action between Coastatoes and Free the Mandern. This is First Blood EU, brought to you by TierMonster.com and hi-rez Studios. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be right back. And we are into the action, or at least everybody loading in. This is, once again, names are on the wrong side. I can fix that. We'll go ahead and introduce the teams while I fix this. I knew there was something
on the red side. We've got the Coastatoes bringing out Suntouch on Hun Bots, Crinyo on Giannis, Shaggy Shank bringing out Rom, Snakeskin on Ra, and Emily Z on Geb.
Indeed, and one moment, there we go.
Yeah, the name slipped from Pix and Band, I believe.
Yeah, that unfortunately sides did change. So we do have. Go ahead and finish the introduction because I goofed. It's all on you.
And on the other side, wearing blue, we've got Free the Mandern, bringing out Freeze, 00 on Mir. Petri DCing on Apollo, Argonath on Agni, Lennox on Chuck, and Rudos bringing out that Nemesis.
And we're actually going to go ahead and go back to a splash screen while they sort this, and we also sort a couple technical issues, as it seems that when they paused, we lost all of the items, and we want to make sure that we have itemization available for you as we can.
That is interesting.
Be back in a minute or two. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned. Apologies for the technical difficulties. All right, our apologies, everybody. We are back. The players are not, but we can at least talk about opening positions and everything else. So we did sort the spectator issue with that. So we see a double lost artifact start on the side of Coastatoes. That's probably the most interesting thing that, which is actually why I wanted to unpause. What are your thoughts on that lost artifact start in the middle and the solo lane?
It's gonna be aggressive. I'm smelling some aggression here.
Well,
I'm expecting Suntouch to try to go very aggressive early.
Well, Suntouch, of course,
maybe look for as much pressure as middle lane. Probably try to make some focus. Maybe look for some early invades. This is what this is showing to me.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with that. The biggest thing that I find interesting, such almost disconcerting, is
like it's not as much power as a trinket start, but brings enough regen, builds into quite a few nice items, and I'm going to sum a lot of places, but I want to see a do more.
The do more would be interesting. The thing is,
I want to see them go all or nothing here.
The biggest concern for me is the fact that they have no potions.
Might catch Frieza. Yeah, that's true. And actually, Frez get caught out here, but mostly it's going to be a bit of trade back and forth between a couple of wet noodle slaps.
Yeah, indeed. So we are just going to see, although we're going to see a very nice deep ward there by Lennox. Lennox implying that they might want to try and invade, something that really is a very solid thing to do against a mage start when you do have a hog. Actually, he doesn't have a hog. Interesting. I was going to say, if Lennox had chosen to buy a hog here, it would have been a very solid decision to try and invade there. But instead, he's simply going to throw an axe and tell the monkey to get out of there. And so the game will be starting now in just a moment, and then we, of course, will see our mid camps spawn, or all of our camps spawning in 10.
It looks like Suntouch was trying to make a very aggressive position, trying to bluff them out there, but it looks like the Mandern wasn't buying any of it, and just being forced to back away there.
Indeed, and so now we're going to see camps being cleared very quickly, actually, for the Mandern. Coastatoes taking a little bit longer on the left-hand side, mainly because they do have only 2 members clearing it instead of the 3 that were clearing the right side camp. We're going to see Suntouch and Snakeskin have no issue clearing these 2 camps, which makes sense considering that Hunbots and Radu both have very good clear. Argonath taking a lot of damage in the mid lane, actually, from the minions. Pulled aggro kind of awkwardly and is now currently sitting at below half health. Luckily for Carino, he's not having the same problem, as Carino with that lost artifact means that he has no potions and has no regen beyond his Vampiric Shroud. Also, in the dual lane, it looks like Suntouch is going to leave very early and be trying to gank the mid lane here. Not sure how.
He saw Argonath take a lot of damage earlier on. Going to try to get in there. Carino not really close enough to find any crowd control, but mostly going to push it up. Maybe look for that early invader we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I definitely do like the
idea. They're in a good position, but actually might just opt to go back and take that red buff, which they might be doing now. And yeah, we saw Argonath take a lot of damage, taking a lot of damage now, and forced to drop another potion, it seems.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate, but I was expecting, as far as trying to take that speed buff, you don't want to try and invade that speed buff unless you have the other team's jungler pushed up far enough to actually.
But at the same time,
now
we're
in stasis mode,
ready to put some stasis mode.
So, and we're done. Okay, so if it happens again, we're gonna actually go ahead and have a full pause. I think that was simply one of the those 2 pauses that we had earlier, simply sort of catching back up a little bit. We're going to see Shaggy Shank and going in deep here, but Frezzo will be alright. Frezzo, my apologies, will be alright, and Pertra will as well. But we are, in fact, actually seeing this speed buff being stolen away by Suntouch.
And a lot sneakier of a steal than we're used to seeing, actually.
That's a very solid steal there. They cut up through the mid, through the jungle, instead of the mid lane.
Now we're able to collapse on Rudos. We just see Frezzo looking to sniff it out. They do see it's gone, and now Rudos might find Suntouch here. Gonna go for the slice and dice. Gonna find it, but gonna come back to get a few camps right there. And Suntouch gonna walk over with the speed buff and 2 camps.
Yeah, and 2 out of that back camp, which
two
is
of the 3 harpies.
Yep, that's not a lot, but it's denied farm is the biggest thing. Is that net it's actually the equivalent of 4 because he took 2 that he shouldn't have had and also took 2 away from his opponent, who should have easily had those. So Rudolph's now in a little bit of trouble as Suntouch is going to flip over behind. However, Suntouch, again, it's taking a lot of damage there as the passive from the Agni is going to start ticking around. But Suntouch does hit level 5 well before his opposing Nemesis does, meaning that Rudolph will be hurting a little bit here. I'd like to see Rudolph try and get some more from wherever he can. However, he's going to get chunked out pretty hard there by Carino. So there's that aggression that you were talking about. Jumping over to the duo lane, we're going to see Frezzo and Pertra pushed very hard under tower, and they need to be getting ready to have Frezzo rotate as the mid camps are about to spawn.
And unfortunately, Frezzo's stuck in a bit of an awkward spot where Rom able to just get in his face right now. Gonna try to apply a bit more pressure so Pedre can survive a bit longer, so he's gonna push that lane up and as we start rotating over, but at the same time Suntouch already is in position, and Malizi and Carino are in position to take this one away. Frezzo might go for a fight, because it does have Rudos and his Agni here ready to fight this one out, but they're just gonna lose it away and give up the left side mid camp. But also, Coastatoes gonna take away both mid camps.
Indeed they are. And that's oh, and their Cataclysm is coming in there as well.
Great Cataclysm gonna catch him. Great snipe coming across the border. Cross is gonna come down right into an ultimate from Lunbata. Frezzo should be the first to fall, and I'm gonna dash on through. Argonaut trying to apply the pressure, but it's a little too late. Tries to drop the stun, but not gonna find it. Now Sunder's leaping over his head around to Argonaut. Argonaut taking so much damage. Drops the mist on himself. Gonna try to find a chalk to the fountain. Gonna ulti away quite a few people there with a shotgun across the wall. Will find him, and a snipe down the lane will find the other person, killing Rudolph.
That is a 3 for 0, which is very unfortunate for Free the Mandern. Very, very solid engagement there for Coastatoes. And now at this point, we're actually going to see a little bit of a pressure coming out onto the dual lane, as well as Pertra does have a Measly coming up trying to smack him in the face with that rollout, but he misses, so that means that he's just going to simply be able to hide under tower and be alright as they do back to go and complete those Devourer's Gauntlets on Rom. Or maybe start buff. Nobody's going to back, okay.
I think it's a little too early to start off this blue buff, like with this current style.
Yep, so we are going to see Rom probably just come back up to lane and meet a Mealsy there. Mealsy just probably trying to make sure that they don't get any funny ideas and try and aggress too hard on that. We're going to see in the mid lane, Carino doing very well here. 2 levels already ahead of Argonaut. He's been doing a very good job of denying experience and gold for that matter as well. So sitting at 15 seconds until 5-minute mark. So we'll just go ahead and do our 5-minute update right now. We are at 5 minutes in. The score is 3-0 in favor of Coastatoes. They are ahead by 2,500 experience. 1.
Oh, there's a fight going on. Sorry to interrupt you. You're going over the blue buff right now. Rudolph's going to drop his shield. Lennox going to disengage here, but trying to fight with the blue buff. Suntouch and Snakeskin not going to find it, unfortunately. And sorry, I don't think these teams like your 5-minute updates that much.
That's fine, I understand. But anyways, like as I was saying, 1.8k gold difference as well. So Coastatoes definitely outstripping in terms of experience, but not as much in gold. But we are going to actually see Frez try and start off the gold for here, going right into his ultimate. Interesting decision to try and burn it a little bit early. You're going to see the Rom ultimate all 3 times hit. Yana's ultimate clips it as well, which is actually going to help them out quite nicely. And they are doing a very good job of juggling aggro here, and it should go down. It does.
Away. Frezzo going to die, but going to secure it. Now Shaggy Shank actually picks up a double kill right in the middle of the action. Rudolph will secure him right there, but Sunder's going to knock him right face first into the wall with the Fear No Evil. Petra going to find a great mezzo, and they're going to make their way out here, but Rudolph might fall down. Suntouch should have his leap available any moment now. Rudolph's going to try to deny himself. Looks like he's walking right into the tower. Gonna deny himself successfully, and he's going to be taken down by the archers. And, well, sometimes you can't survive, so just get the money to the tower.
He didn't even give an assist. He was able to get far enough away.
It was a perfect just disengage and just give up nothing. And that's exactly what he needed to do. I see the same thing there. Frezzo didn't die. They actually gave a double kill to Shaggy Shank, so not the best. They did get the Gold Fury. So they're not that far behind.
And the funny thing is is that they couldn't have gotten it without Shaggy Shank trying to kill them. Because he went up into his ultimate, and the Rom ult went down and hit all the Gold Fury 3 times.
So unfortunately, the Coastatoes, in their attempts to just force them away, Free the Mandern stood strong, held on to it, and just took it away, despite all that.
Yep, Free the Mandern pulling the gold difference down to sub 500 for a moment there. Now sitting at about 1,000, but still, it's a very solid attempt and a very early and aggressive Gold Fury steal here. That
it pulled them back a little bit more, and it pulled them back a little bit closer.
Exactly.
As they were quite a bit further behind at that point, but pulled them back to be only about 1,000 behind. Less than that, actually.
And so we're going to see, looks like a little bit of aggression maybe in this Gold Fury side, interestingly enough. Really nothing left except for one back Harpy camp that really everybody does know about, because it was that one that Suntouch took half of. So each side does know when it will be respawning, or nearabouts when. So looks like probably Frezzo is going to go back and take that one over in the solo lane. Rudolph is in a little bit of trouble as Snakeskin is chasing, sort of. He's sort of, it's more that stay out of my lane. I just want to sit here and farm. Go away. Because that's really what Ra and Chalk do best. Is they sit, they farm, they sit, they farm. Oh, it's team fight time? Okay, let me bring my heals or my tankiness and a silence. And that's all that they do. And give them credit for it. They do it very well.
Not to mention, he gets in your back line and just absolutely... He's just a menace. He's a nuisance, he's a silence, he's a menace.
They're both menaces.
Yeah, they're both menaces, and they both will hurt your back line. One from a bit further away, and one very much in your face.
Yeah, so speaking of which, you're
also
seeing
talking about Shock.
Ra going into a Shoes of Focus and a Silver Breastplate, meaning a Breastplate of Valor. So that's a full cooldown Ra, meaning that he's going pure utility. We're seeing Chalk doing a very similar thing, going with that Hide to the Urchin first item. Of course, he needs to get kills and assists to do that. Speaking of kills, though, he and Snakeskin going at it. Snakeskin is a level ahead, so Lennox is a little bit at a disadvantage there, but they both should be able to heal up after this fight and be perfectly fine. Mid lane groupings for both teams, however, neither mid camp is going to be up for a reasonable amount of time, but there are no wards, which means that each team is a little bit worried about where might somebody be going. We're going to see Milzy rotating over into this dual lane, trying to get something off here, so we're going to see him go in, actually get blocked up by that wall, surprisingly well. Shockwave's going to come in, though, and knock out Petra, but that should be the end of that engagement. But we do see Agni and Nemesis rotating over.
We're going to see a collapse coming here around the Gold Fairy, looking for it. Suntouch waiting around, going to try to jump over, find the ultimate. Snakeskin is here now, going to look for it. Rudolph's going to get caught up by the slow. No, he's going to make his way out of here. Here comes Frezzo jumping away, going to drop the ultimate right on some people right there. Cataclysm does come out, not going to hit nearly enough though. Petra in danger as well, but here goes Frezzo falling down. A couple of shots are going to miss from Ram, unfortunately. And the snipe is all onto Argonaut. He's going to make his way out of here. Petra now trying to duel back. Chalk in the middle of this fight, going to silence out three people. Drops his axe right on everybody. Snakeskin will fall to the damage from Chalk. Now Lennox trying to make his way under. Carreño out of mana as well. This could be the fight that Free the Mandern needs. Carreño in a lot of danger from Rudolph. So Rudolph's dashing around this fight. Chalk here as well, but Lennox is going to fall down, unfortunately. Shaggy Shank's doing a ton of work right now. Finding the object, going to shoot through the wall, slow him down. Shockwave will lock him in place. Gonna fall right there, and unfortunately, looks like they're all gonna fall as Petra was a little late to the action, but he can find Suntouch here. Maybe gonna dash, trying to find the power slide, but not finding the damage. Gonna find his one, looking for that last auto, but a great shield will keep Suntouch safe for a little while longer. Gonna get him out of there as well, and well, a great fight there for Coastatoes, and almost something great for Free the Madness. They're gonna go right on, so gonna find Suntouch actually, and Frez not content to lose there.
And not content at all, and that made that fight not as bad for them. It was still definitely a win for Coastatoes there, but
Coastatoes aren't able to secure any objectives with the back of it, though, and
exactly.
Frez went for the mid camp, and then he walked up, froze Suntouch, and just smacked.
Well, I mean, it's like, oh, look, it's a little monkey. I'm a giant frost giant. I might as well freeze you and stick a large shard into your toe, and oh, he's dead because he's got no health left. So we're actually going to see them go ahead and clear away a ward on the Gold Fury. Gold Fury going to be up in 5 seconds, so maybe another Gold Fury, but I think it would be a little risky to try and burst a Gold Fury right now, especially as Frezzo is sitting a level behind Emilzy, and this 9, 10, 11 levels are huge for protection scalings on your supports, especially though we actually do see that Frezzo is ahead on items.
Oh, Frezzo's actually been doing quite well for himself, surprisingly.
He's ahead on...
he's ahead on
farm. He's doing a very good job.
He's been making it to the mid camps. He's been cheering quite well to the ADC, and he got that Gold Fury as well.
Indeed,
I mean,
he has.
we can't count out the Gold Fury. I think he can clear out the board as well, setting up for the next Gold Fury. I mean, Frez has been doing incredibly well this game. I mean, Slashline may not represent him, but he's been doing a great job of just being in position for the objectives and farming nicely.
Indeed, he has. So we're going to see a bit of a rotation coming out here from Coastatoes. I think they would like to actually try and sneak a Gold Fury here, but Frez has been doing such a good job of counter-warding that they don't have vision of the area at all. Interestingly enough, so I'm going to actually all the words show up now. As apparently Spectator doesn't like me, so kinds of use today. I blame EU. So with that said,
regarding a few interesting things that happen is we do see Coastatoes grouped up around the Gold Fury. They're trying to find it, but they're trying to really bait Free the Mandern into something right now. But I don't think Free the Mandern is going to take the bait until their entire team's ready to respond. It looks like they're going to make it into position. It looks like Coast might have waited a little too long. Suntouch's going to try to find the shot, going to drop his ultimate right into Frez. Going to try to force him away here. Going to maybe do it as well. Frez going to drop his stun with everybody right there. Not going to find nearly enough cross space in time. Will come out, but the rotation already is in there. Now here comes Petra. Going to try to rotate into the fight, but he's going to fall right into his team. And
Well, a good pick there for the Coastatoes, and they're going to be able to take whatever they want off the back of this, and probably going to be a Gold Fury, but I don't think Free the Mandern's content to give anything up, as we've seen from their team, defiant until the end. Monkey is going to come across, going to find Rudos right there with the portal right there now. Sometimes Judy gets to zone them away, Geb Shield will come out. We didn't get absolutely crushed there by Free the Mandern. Now they're going to turn their attention over to everybody else. Lennox going to drop his silence on the 2 people, which is not going to be nearly enough. They're going to keep chasing on. Argonaut popped in a bit of an awkward spot, going to be crushed right there by Corina, and Argonaut's going to do a great combo as Corina falls down there. Corina trying to stay alive. Great shot from Apollo right as he falls down. Now Rudos trying to find it. Geb Shield does come on to Corina. He's going to walk away from this one right there, but here comes Frez, ready to fight. Blinks in on him, gets a stun, but misses Corina. Portal does come out to keep him safe. Going to drop a great wall of denial, and then Channel's going to open. Going to find him right there. And now Rudos is still in the fight. Lennox healing up quite nicely, and Snakeskin forced out of his heal. Has nothing really to get away from him. Mike is slashed and dashed down, and he should fall to the dash, and they're going to drop his heal to stay alive a bit longer. The shield is ticking back onto him. He's just going to kite it out and try to delay as much time as possible. Going to get walled off, and I think we're going to see him finally go down there after a great bit of juking, but got to keep the Gold Fury safe.
Exactly, but after that entire engagement, we're going to see what was a 4,000 experience difference down to just 2,600, and what was a 2,000 gold difference long before all of these. We're now at a 300 gold in favor of Free the Mandern.
And so now we're seeing a fight over the side. Sunder's popped his ultimate onto Frez. Frez maybe gonna... No, great meds, just keep him alive a little bit longer. Now Sunder's in an awkward position. Nemesis is in the fight. Rudos drops him down there with the ultimate as well, and well, jungler for support right there, but it is the Gold Fury being contested. Now Carino is making his way over here as well. We're going to see another fight over the Gold Fury, I think, in a few moments.
I would not be surprised to see one at all, but at the same time, I think the two teams are a little... not tired of fighting, but I think they do recognize that they need to, sort of wait, take a moment. Obviously Free the Mandern can't do anything until their Hog 3 is back up, and Coastatoes does have their Hog 3 available, but they have farm that both teams have been denying themselves. The solo lane hasn't seen anybody in about 2 minutes at the end of that fight, and that was several waves of minions that were free that had just been given up by both teams because they had sent their solo laners into the mid and left side jungle. So we're going to see
sent everybody to fight this one out. So farm across the map has just been kind of just going to waste, but I'm going to go back and secure all that. Same goes for the jungle buff.
Indeed. So we are going to see actually maybe an attempt here, as we do see Rudos and Frezzo in the area, though maybe not.
I think Frez just clearing it away. I mean, he knows it'd be a little dangerous to do this, so... I mean, Frez has done some crazy stuff, so we're going to drop the wall, keep Mir from going anywhere, and Emily's going to be caught out right there, but just going to knock Frez back. Here comes Apollo coming down across. This guy's going to crash right into Emily's, but here comes the rest of the Coastatoes, ready to collapse on the overextended ADC, but Argonaut doing a great job of keeping them down, but he might fall for his transgressions right there. Here comes Snakeskin, ready to find it, drops the slow, gonna guarantee that kill right there, and now they have a great fight over this Gold Fury. Be a 4v5 to try to contest, but Free the Mandern, as we said, has been defined until the end, and they might just try to contest this, and it might just work with the crazy thing. We see Frez looking for a fight, gonna maybe try to find the blink end. Sometimes ult does drop his ultimate. Coastatoes will get the Gold Fury, and now Free the Mandern gonna try to make something happen. Mir will get the freeze onto Emily Z, but not gonna get it on anybody else. Here comes him dashing across, gonna drop the ultimate. Carino will gonna try to find his way through the fight and gonna make it back into his own backline. Up in the air goes Rom, trying to find the shots. One more shot on Petra will bring him down right there. Frez taking low as well, but a great wall of denial will drop Lennox in there as well, right into a portal. Gonna keep him safe for a little bit longer, but he should end up falling down here, drops his own axe, try to deal a little bit more damage back. Double kill going to Shaggy Shank right there, and Shaggy Shank coming up big that fight.
Indeed, and we're going to see either a mid tower or a Fire Giant. Not quite sure which. Looks like they are going to go for that mid tower. Fire Giant would not have actually been too outrageous there, as they did do a very significant amount of damage to Free the Mandern's mobility, and everybody had been taken incredibly low, so they were going to be forced to go back at the very least. A lot of damage actually coming back out from Free the Mandern onto Emilzy especially. And now we're going to see, actually, Rodos trying to go deeper, popping his beads just to get some cooldown. Snakeskin in a little bit of trouble. However, that Geb Shield is going to help him out quite nicely. And now we should see pretty much a tower, Gold Fury, 3 kills for free.
That's quite a bit taken away as Coastatoes are there. We might see Frez able to secure the minions. Actually might be able to secure both minions as they're trying to fight this one out. Drops a shotgun, but not going to find the damage he needs. And, well, Free the Mandern is going to secure some mid camp.
They are, and so that's something, it's that, like you said before, not giving up.
Yeah, they're not giving up, and they're trying to get what they can, and, well, it's kept them in the game. They're only about 2,000 gold behind at about 9 to 16, which is surprising, also being a tower down.
Especially being a tower down. But unfortunately, Free the Mandern hasn't done much as far as tower pressure. They have done a good job of maintaining Gold Fury presence, and as they are tied 1-1. But at 17 minutes in, and having no real tower damage, actually, let's go ahead and look at our structure damage stats. We have 0 structure damage, which means that all tower damage that has been done onto Coastatoes towers have been from minions, which means that Free the Mandern has been able to apply some pressure, but nowhere near as much as Coastatoes, who obviously have not only taken down a tower, but also have a reasonable amount of it done as well.
I mentioned a reasonable amount of pause time.
Yeah, we're gonna have about a minute pause here, so I think we can stick with this.
We can stick with this and talk about some of the builds we see coming out. We see a lot of the builds starting to come into their own right now, as we see the mid-game core items coming online for most gods.
Yep, so we are going to see a chin size coming out on the side of Shaggy Shank. This is either going to be a unicorn or a Zappacorn build, depending on which. Zappacorn, of course, being the chin size executioner build compared to the chin size bossy brawlers build. So we'll see what's coming out there. We're going to see a chin size on the way for Chalk. I'm not quite sure what we're going to see out of Apollo on Petra. Team is a little bit squishier on the side of Coastatoes. That's the thing, is that Free the Mandern's a very bruisery team, which means that a chin size will work quite nicely. So, Executioner wouldn't surprise me here, just because he is a little bit behind. It's about a full 1,000 gold behind his opposing Hunter. So,
yeah, that is the bad that makes the most sense of the situation, I feel.
I mean, and again, like, if you can
he can also shred armor quite well, and we often see Apollo's going for more of the crit focus build because of that built-in steroid, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes right into the Executioner, right into some crits. Yep,
and also, I remember when we first saw this Hide of the Urchin finished, there was 1 kill on the side of Free the Mandern, that was it. I was a little bit concerned. I don't know if he's going to be able to get a whole lot of kills on it, or stacks onto that Hide of the Urchin, as he has to be either the killer or the assistee. Well, since then, he's gotten 6 stacks on it, so I think he's doing all right.
He's been rotating quite nicely. Like, he's been in almost every major fight this game, I believe. Yeah, he has been in every major fight this game.
Yeah, they've been 5-man team fights for both teams, and seeing a Weakening Curse coming out from him is very solid. I would like to see a Divine Ruin or a Brawler's Beatstick coming out. Divine Ruin, though, would be a little bit difficult to sort of fit in. A Brawler's Beatstick, though, would work quite nicely for Chalk, in my opinion. Maybe even on Nemesis, but probably not quite as solid. So we're going to see as we unpause as everybody is back into the game now. We're now sitting at 18 minutes in. A little bit of an engagement over in the solo lane. As now, actually, we see Lennox is a level ahead of Snakeskin, interestingly enough, but nothing too significant here. As we actually do see Frezzo and Rudos maybe looking for a gank here, but it looks like Suntouch knows what's going on and is on his way to help out his solo.
They're going to get a great wall. They're not going to find the freeze. Mira drops the carpet, but not going to find the damage he needs across space on time. Coming out, not going to find any damage. They're going to drop the portals in case they want to rotate. Argonauts actually going to get barely dodging away from that beam right there, and they're all going to escape, but all just barely.
Indeed.
Not even by the skin of their own teeth. They escaped with plenty of health left, but some pretty narrow escapes again, blinking right into the fight. Going to get a great Raw Smite coming down as well. Great combo, but nothing to show for it, unfortunately. As Nemesis pops the shield immediately.
Oh, beautiful Nemesis ultimate there onto Suntouch. Suntouch
gonna drop his own ultimate, gonna ride the portal across, and gonna drop ship out of there. Now Apollo's gonna come and try to join the fight, but realizes it's a little too late, and we'll go back to split pushing as he knows he's got full 5 in the mid lane. He can push as much as he wants as long as his team can maintain their hold on this lane, but I don't know if they can maintain against a full 5-man push coming out of the Coastatoes. You're gonna blink, are gonna get a great 3-man freeze with a Gep shield. We'll keep most of the team safe right there, and keep the important people safe. At least the Snakeskin will get shielded out there. Gonna drop his own damage and force Frezzo away, but Apollo finally gonna secure a tower for a tower, but well, they've gone tier 1 for a tier 1 and a tier 2, and I don't know if it's worked.
Well, just a tier 2, because that tier 1 was already down.
Yeah, just a tier 2. The tier 1, I thought the tier 1 had fallen, my bad.
The tier 1 had fallen before this engagement, so it's a tier 1 for a tier 2, not a tier 1 and a tier 2. But anyways, I digress. So, at this point, 19 minutes in, sitting on effectively do our 20-minute update. Sitting at 6,000 experience, just under 3,500 gold. So, Free the Mandern been doing a good job of at least maintaining the gold.
I am really surprised by how even this gold was.
Yeah, I would expect to see gold up a little bit higher. Also, seeing a relatively late Book of Thoth, not bad considering that A, it's low on stacks, and B, it's not horrible as far as your, itemizations, because we're actually going to see...
We're going to see a Fire Giant attempt coming out here. Crossbit's not coming down. Rudolph's will fall. They're going to try to fight someone out. Fred's trying to get in there. Free the Mandern will get the Fire Giant, but it might be a little too late. This might come at some coast right here. Going to try to find Snakeskin. Snakeskin just going to leap in there, try to make whatever can happen. Looking for the slow, but
oh, they might just disengage with 3 people actually carrying away that Fire Giant, and that's going to be a Fire Giant out of the Coastatoes' hand and on the Mandern, but they might lose a little bit much off the back of that.
I'd say losing 2 towers for Fire Giant is definitely not worth it. Though
2 towers, 2 team members. I mean, it stopped the bleeding, which is nice. Chalk's going to get in there. Lennox trying to make as much pressure as possible and keep them away from this. Suntouch a little low to fight, not going to find his way into the heal either. And, well, Lennox might be able to keep them off as he does that Fire Giant heal taking. He does have his own healing. Does have quite a bit of damage. Going to get right on top of Suntouch, trying to lodge him. Goes to the ultimate, going to force him out of this one, forces him to leap away. And, well, I think Lennox has secured the tower right.
A very good job by him. We're going to see.
So they may not bleed as much as they thought they were.
Definitely not, and it still though was 2 towers, almost a tier 2 on the dual lane side as well for a Fire Giant, and it looks like the Gold Fury is going to be started up here by Coastatoes. We're going to see actually Petro just decide that he cannot contest this. That's going to be a Gold Fury as well going to their side, and that's going to pull the gold difference very solidly now in their favor at 6,000. Still a pure experience gap as there are no level 20s on the board just yet. So very solid 10,000 experience difference currently.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're starting to fall further and further behind, despite that risky, but it was a very risky and almost good play, but unfortunately, they just didn't really have the damage and to burn it down in time, and Coastatoes were able to rotate just in time for it.
Now, again, I think that it was a good play, and they're delaying it, and that's what they need, because if that Gold Fury hadn't been taken, they would be sitting at, about 4,000 gold behind, which isn't horrible, especially because of all the
Free the Mandern has a pretty nice late game team composition. I mean, it's definitely nothing to just scoff at. It's definitely nothing to scoff at. And Coastatoes have a good team, but it's going to be fairly even come late game, I feel. Exactly. And we've seen that Free the Mandern can play the objectives well, and they can team fight fairly well as well.
Team fight incredibly effectively, and so I think that that's exactly what they're trying to do, and that's exactly what they need to do, is play for that late game comp where they can really try and get the thing on a more even playing field. You're going to see Frezzy in a lot of trouble. Frezzo's going to get a nice freeze on his Snakeskin afterwards, going to drop into his ultimate. He's going to die before he can pop it out as Suntouch just get the kill. We're going to see Snakeskin in a little bit of trouble here as the ultimate from Nemesis comes out, as well as a weakening curse. He's no healing on the side of Coastatoes. Shaggy Snake's going to kill Argonath on the bottom side of this engagement, though Carreño is being chased down by Lennox. However, Lennox is in a lot of trouble here. Going to pop his heal and try and get out of there. You're going to see Petro try and do something. Suntouch is going to kill Rudos at the very bottom of this engagement. While Rom is in the air, Suntouch is now going to come around and try and help out. We're applying a ton of damage there. Suntouch is going to get the kill onto him. That's a double for him. And now he needs to get out of the way as Lennox is back, saying, "You've killed my friends. I'm here to kill you." However, Suntouch says, "Oh, but I have my team. You are all alone." That is a triple kill for the monkey. That is a deicide. And Suntouch, showing that he does know how to play Honeybot quite nicely.
All horror movie conventions. I mean, of course, they decided to stick together as a team and, not run willy-nilly from the big villain Chalk, but,
well, that's exactly
it's definitely working. They're going to make it work. We're going to see Frez trying to make this work out here, but they might end up losing a Phoenix, and I feel like Free the Mandern might be bleeding a bit too much off the back of that fight, as Frez, unfortunately, is getting caught out in an awful position there, and definitely might have just started putting the nails in the coffin right here.
Yeah, see, at this point, I do like the fact that Coastatoes have decided to back off here. They're not all low, but their tanks are starting to get a little bit low, and they're starting to run out of mana. Things are starting to go on a cooldown. So back off, go spend that money. There's a lot of gold in hand, and they are all going to be backing and buying half to full item purchases, which I really do like. So they're going to be, buying actives, got a lot of beads online, got some blinks, got some heavenly agilities, all of which I love. Over on the other side, we're seeing beads start to get wrapped up. We're seeing 4th items started, while we're seeing 4th items getting finished over on the side of Coastatoes, which really shows where Free the Mandern is hurting at this point, is in that gold department, and I think they do realize that as well. So we're going to see Petro get caught out a little bit here. I don't think he realized that Suntouch is going to be forced to beads, and nice mess as well, going to keep Suntouch off of his back. Immediately going to blink, and Cataclysm completely misses, so Petro should be alright as he has sprinted. Oh, nice juke there from through space and time. However, he's going to get the beads popped by Carreño, going to sort of reset his cooldowns, and Carreño's going to get the kill. The Raw Snipe's superfluous as it did miss.
It was mostly trying to cover the option in case he got away from that. I mean, Coastatoes are definitely doing a good job, as you can see later in the game. They're starting to work a lot better together as a team, and they're doing a good job of covering the option right there. And it's good to see them. It's nice to see them evolve as a team throughout this game.
Yeah, definitely. Also, they've got a lot of ward coverage out, which I really like. They've got 2 sentry wards down here, another one, 2 over by the mid camp. plus another Centaur on the Fire Giant. They own this area right now, and they're going to go kill Lennox before they go to the Fire Giant. Lennox getting completely melted as there were 4 members just dealing massive amounts of damage. Sorry, I can't make that 5. Technically, Milsey wasn't doing that much damage, but are they looking to bait once more before they go? Because, again, they can't see everyone that's
They're
there.
trying to do it, but I think Free the Mandarin's going to back off here and just try to not bleed out as much here as they have been, and that might be the best option. But if we're just going to be a Fire Giant up Coastatoes, and they're 11k ahead right now, wearing a Fire Giant on all 5. I think this might be the nail in the coffin for Free the Mandarin, unfortunately.
Especially because nobody on Free the Mandern is level 20 yet, and everybody on Coastatoes is except for their support. That's another tower down, which means that there are only 2 Phoenixes left. Free the Mandern needs a massive play here. If they can get a complete wipe,
I mean, these guys are incredibly defiant. I think we can see a play coming out here. We're going to see Frez trying to find some Chocolate just come out right into a portal. Great CC chain right there. Spirit of Evil will come out as well. Are going to forced away from the fight. Going to get killed by Shaggy Shank in the background. Now they're going to try to go on to Frez. Frez going to get hit by the snipes from Rom. Going to find that final shot. Sun Touch will. Snipe comes across the backside. Going to hit Rudolph there right there. But Lennox coming in deep. Going to find Emily's here right there. Try to turn this fight around. Sun Touch will fall to Petri right there. And they're going to take the Phoenix though. But losing a couple of members for that, and we're definitely seeing why Free the Mandern is a scrappy EU team.
Definitely. So, I mean, 3 for 2, definitely. I mean, it's 3 plus a Phoenix for 2.
It wasn't worth, but it prevented them from getting more, which is what they need to be doing, and it's definitely just delaying them as much as possible. All they can really do at this point is delay, and maybe find their miracle play.
At this point, I'm worried that it's too little too late.
Well, like, the longer you keep the game going, though, the more likely it is for Coastatoes to make a mistake that you can take advantage of. And as long as they can find that big mistake and try to stay in it, they can find that mistake, but it might be too little too late, like you said, as they are bleeding pretty profusely right now, and one good play from Coastatoes is all it's going to take, even just one, just play in general. As long as it doesn't go horribly awry.
So yeah, there are 2 Phoenixes down. The middle lane Phoenix is getting ready to respawn, but that doesn't really matter.
As long as anything from Coastatoes doesn't go horribly awry, I think they're in a good position to win this game, but Free the Mandern is incredibly scrappy, and I don't think they're willing to let this one go without a fight, so
and
if they can keep delaying like this, they can definitely find the mistake, maybe.
Again, really, that's all that they need, is they need to be on point, and they need Coastatoes to make a mistake, but we have seen mistakes be made at every level of Smite, so why not try and force a mistake here? And by continuing the game as long as possible, they're going to be able to force something, maybe. So we're going to see actually them engage right now here. Frez taking a lot of damage with Lennox getting in deep. No healing for them for a while. Nice Cataclysm. The Snake Skin is going to go Frez there. And now we're going to see Shaggy Snake up in the air doing a ton of damage with his ultimate. Beautiful ultimate there from Sun Touch. Sun Touch is going to get the last bit of damage there onto Lennox. Now we're going to see nice mez coming out there from Petro. Doesn't matter. He's going to go and Shaggy Snake killing Argonath as well. Rudolph is going to not get the kill on Sun Touch. Sun Touch will be getting a triple kill. That is a deicide, and that is the game, ladies and gentlemen. Coastatoes taking it in 28 minutes over Free the Mandern. GG's round number 2. Coastatoes will be advancing to the quarterfinals.
The early big game was really, it was definitely close. I mean, Free the Mandern there's no other way to describe it. They're scrappy. They're in your face, and they don't give up anything. Even if it looks like, they'll just walk away. No, they're back in there, and very impressive. But Coastatoes had the good late game shot calling, knew where they needed to be, and unfortunately started building up too much of an advantage towards the end of the early, mid-game. It just took off from there, and unfortunately, Free the Mandern did lose this round, but put up a good fight. And Coastatoes moving on to the next round.
Indeed, they are. So we'll be back in just a few moments with your quarterfinal matchup. Once again, this is TierMonster.com's First Blood tournament, brought to you by TierMonster.com and hi-rez Studios. My name is M Target. My co-caster is Soza. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back.